Hey everybody, it's me. I'm Jeff Banks. I am by myself, so it's kind of lonely. I've been kind of under the weather at all the schools, all the kids and teachers. Even the teachers are kind of under the weather, and it's creeping up on me. And I think because of prayer and fasting, my spirit is like abounding. It's going full speed. It's the Hulk. Why I'm withering away into, you shrivel up and your immune system is not as powerful as it usually is. So, which brings me for what I want to talk about, right? So let's get to this. What I wanted to talk about today is prayer, flexing your prayer muscle. All right, and that's what focus does. When you're praying, and you have focus, you're flexing that muscle. You're exercising it. You're putting it to use. You're putting it to good work where it's not starting to atrophy and wither away. Focusing on things makes it stronger. So if you focus on plenty, then you start to look and live a plentiful life. If you're focusing on lack, I don't have this, I don't have that, then you'll notice more, you'll have nothing. If you ever heard of, you can look this up, as the RAS, the reticular activating system. And that's when the most common example is if you like a car or you just bought a brand new car. I got a new car. As soon as I got that car, I started seeing it everywhere. And the same thing happens too when you start to pray and you start to focus in on God and what He can do for you or what He's doing for you, His love for you. You start to see it everywhere. Man, I never noticed that before. That's because your reticular activating system is activated and you're seeing the things you want. So what you're focusing in on, the things that you focus on, starts to grow in your life all around you. John Maxwell said this, the keys to focusing is set your priorities and concentration. So I want to add a little bit to that is the intentional actions too. So you have your priorities. Once you have your priorities straight and you concentrate, this is what focusing does. Once you put your intentional actions to it, it only gets stronger. The more intensity that it has, the more intentional that you become, the quicker your results. It's always funny to see, you ask somebody, what do you want to do? And then they say something very, very broad and have no idea of accomplishing it. It's probably never going to happen, or it might not happen in a million years. But you find those who really said, if you find that Steve Jobs who says, I want to create an iPhone, and they don't stop until they do it. What are you working on, man? Or think about, I think about Noah. You know, there's no real record of it raining. What are you doing, Noah? I'm building a boat. It's gonna flood. He must have looked really, really smart. And he never stopped. He never stopped until it was accomplished, and when it was accomplished, then the floods came. So, here's something that I wrote. Just like a physical body, there needs to be, for there to be change, you have to decide to change. This is a process. Once you get your priorities in order and you start to concentrate, you want change. You don't want to stay where you are. Once you decide that you want to change, You made up in your mind that you want to change. Then you start to go after it. That's the first step. And Journey of 1,000 Steps starts with that first one. That's the first step. The second thing is that you have to have the will to change. Because once you start to do what you were called to do, or start to go after the things that you feel that God is going, and you start to go after it in prayer and things like that, your habits will tell you, you're not used to doing this. If you always been a C or a B student and you want to go for an A, you make that decision that you want to change, then that mindset, that willpower is going to have to come from somewhere to study more. It's doable. You can do it. But until you've made the decision and be willing, it's not going to come. And then the last part is that Noah mentality. I'm gonna go. I don't care if y'all laughing at me. I'm gonna keep making this boat. You have to be determined. You have to be determined to change, and that's staying until you see the results. So you got to stick with that regimen of doing whatever it is, just studying, or if you're trying to lose weight, keep that diet going, or if you're trying to build muscle to keep pumping iron until you start to see the change, until you get your desired result. And we'll talk a little bit more in the next episode with the Smart Couples Finish Rich, how your values will continue to, if you have values, you start to live towards those values. A lot of us don't. We live according to our habits. But that's the next one. So just like if you want to enhance the whole body, you can't just focus on the leg. Remember, it's the whole thing. You're going to have to do the whole thing. You're going to have to take a holistic approach. That's why we do mind, body, spirit, finances, and social interactions. We're unblocking those things. We're unblocking ourselves. And prayer, same thing. You can't just focus on yourself. You're going to have to go outside of yourself. You're going to have to grow. And that's what the change is. Growth equals change. If you're not changing, if you're not growing, you're not going to change. You're going to stay the same. If they stay the same, that is the definition of no change. And as my wife always says, you can't continuously do the same thing and expect different results. That's the definition of insanity. But see you in the next episode. We're going to tackle the value system, and we're going to create a value circle. All right?